Hey everybody, I'm the fifth Ninja Turtle named after Bob Ross.
And I'm the cursed Koichi pose.
And welcome to Super Stuff. Okay, so first things first, we need to decide something in the first we need to decide something in the first 5 minutes or so of this episode. Is it PG?
I guess we'll just keep going and then see.
We'll see. Okay.
And when one of us breaks, we'll just decide.
Right. Okay. Well, one thing I've learned through Anthony, we have to at least keep it PG for the first minute.
Yes.
So we're at 46 seconds now. Let's see how long we'll last.
I'm drenched in sweat, waiting for it to hit a minute.
Okay. So today's topic, you're gonna love this one, and that was my ringtone.
Oh, you just completed a quest.
Oh, I sent Maddie a picture of my dinner.
Yes.
Look at that. Vegan chicken, Cajun avocado, and sweet potato.
How was it?
Oh my god.
I don't think I could eat it, but it looks good.
I feel like
I like the color scheme you got going on.
I feel like I could climb a mountain. Nah, vegan chicken's really good.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever had it.
No,
that's not true. I've had it before.
If it's made by Gardein, it's very good. Same with their fish and their teriyaki chicken and everything. But if it's made by any other company, I'm very iffy on it.
Is this the topic? Is vegan food the topic?
No. Vegan food's not the topic. Speaking of vegan food, though, a lot of professional athletes have been switching over to veganism to actually boost their immune system and help out with their, like Chris Hemsworth is a vegan, Chris Evans is a vegan.
Are they professional athletes? I think you mean actors.
No, I mean, they're actors, but they're buff.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, I get what you mean.
But no, our topic today has to do with professional athletes, which was my nice segue.
Ooh. So we're just completely streaming away from the nerd idea and we're talking about athletes?
Oh, no, this is a nerdy topic.
Okay.
This is an extremely nerdy topic. Because our topic today is professional wrestling.
Okay, sweet. I like it. Oh my god, what the hell?
Okay, so the ghost knocked over the picture of the portrait of Baymax I have on the coffee table in the Marvel room. I love having a Marvel room. Yeah, just lay it down. We'll stand it up later. No, professional wrestling. George has just recently started training for professional wrestling because it's his dream, and follow your dreams.
I'm going to give it my best shot.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Walk me through some training. Like, walk me through a day of training.
So, basically, the first day of training is them just constantly hitting you and throwing you around to see how well you can take bumps.
When you said constantly, you went, and it sounded like you were animating out. You went, constantly.
No, I am constantly animating out. But no, it's basically, the first couple sessions really consist of them just seeing how well you can hit the floor and if it really is for you. The tryout is literally just you slamming yourself on the mat multiple times in a row just to see if you can handle it. And then at the end, they're like, okay, we think you can handle it. Do you think you can handle it?
Oh, okay. Kind of like a trial by fire type
Yeah,
thing.
pretty much. They basically just, and like you do, they'll just tell you to go to the middle of the ring, and they'll be like, just throw yourself onto the mat, and if you can handle that, then you're good.
Sounds good. So how many times do you think you've been slammed into the mat since your training started?
Let's see. I've had 3 total sessions so far, and I've been slammed, I want to say, at least too many to count. Enough for it to really hurt.
Word. And so do you still want to stick with it? It's still fresh in your mind and stuff? You still like it a lot?
Well, so far, yeah, I'd like to. I mean, anybody who goes into wrestling should know that they're gonna, get hurt.
Right? Yeah, that's kind of a thing, which a lot of people think. I mean, granted, there is a high acting component of it, and
the whole point of it is however many people are in the match, you're working together to tell a story and perform.
Yeah. It's athletic performance, What
exactly.
are you looking at?
I don't know. I thought I saw movement. I'm ADHD. I see movement in any corner of my eye. I just shoot over.
Oh, okay. I love how if I turn my head this way, it's like a really nice... you can't hear this. You don't have the headphones on. It's a really nice resonation in the headphones, but if I'm over here, it sounds like I just walked 20 miles away. But no, it's athletic performance is what it is, it's people putting on a show, granted, it's actors, yes, but there's also a very physical aspect of it, you do get slammed in the mat, the hits are real, the moves are real, the jumps are real, the wrestling aspect of it is real. the whole acting aspect is like who wins a match, you know?
I always hate the word fake when describing wrestling because it's not
right.
It's scripted.
It is acting.
It's acted
but
and it's scripted, but it's not fake.
It's kind of like heavy metal acting. Like if you take acting and put some Cajun seasoning on it, that's much, wrestling. Yeah. No, what originally got you into wrestling though? You're a way bigger wrestling fan than I am, but like I'm more so a wrestling fan than like Anthony, and Phil was a real wrestler.
Yeah.
Like a school wrestler.
Yes.
Like on a team.
Like what really got me into wrestling? Well, I want to say the first wrestler I ever really fell in love with was probably CM Punk.
Word.
Just because of how like just watching every Raw and just watching his promos. I mean, I really started getting invested into wrestling around what's known as the Summer of Punk, when he really started to get to heat up, and when he started getting in contention for the WWE Championship, and when he won the WWE Championship eventually. And I just remember, always tuning on to Raw just to watch him. And then I started seeing guys like Chris Jericho and the Big Show. The Big Show was I was a huge fan of him when I was little.
Word.
Sheamus, Cena, and then I remember I want to say I would hit about around when the WWE Network started coming out. I got a subscription to it, and they were like, you can watch all the wrestling you want to. You can go back and watch decades from now.
Take my money now.
Yeah, exactly. That's as soon as I saw it, you got every pay-per-view, and I remember just getting on there the first day I got it on my phone, and I just scrolled to a random SummerSlam from the early 90s, and I just watched the whole thing through. And I found this guy named Bret the Hitman Hart. And Bret the Hitman Hart is still, to this day, I wish I could have been alive in his prime of wrestling, because he's one of the greatest in-ring technicians I've ever watched. And that's really what I was like, this is something I want to do.
And Owen Hart is one of the best air fighters.
Yeah, he was very. That's oh my god, that's so.
Is that profound?
Oh, that's
am I not
so
allowed
bad.
to do that?
Oh, that's so bad.
For those of you who don't know, or for those of you who are just loyal listeners and are listening through this and you don't like wrestling, Owen Hart was a professional wrestler that pulled a stunt where he
was ziplining.
Yes, he was ziplining to the ring, and the line broke, and he fell. 70 feet to his death?
Pretty much as soon as he got down, it just snapped off, and he hit chest first onto the corner turnbuckle and pretty much died on impact.
Yeah, he died on impact. We're gonna watch the video. Let's watch the video.
I don't want to watch the video.
We're gonna watch the video.
I've never wanted to watch the video.
I'm gonna pull the video up, and we're gonna watch the video. It's a very, very sad moment, actually. Oh my god, I typed OW and it popped up Owen Hart death. Let's see.
I don't know if you'll
Owen
actually
Hart.
ever be able to. It happened on a live WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah, it did. People still have it. Oh shit, is this like an actual... Oh, there's how we decide.
Yep, there was the fall, and there was the... I don't think there's an actual...
Oh my god.
I don't think you'll ever be able to find an actual video.
I'll find a video. Let's see.
Oh, copyright.
Copyright. Okay. I'll find a video later. 2 minutes of this podcast are literally just going to be us trying to find a video that they can't watch.
Oh, God.
No, but Owen Hart died. It was very sad. Lots of wrestlers have died, though, and it's been upsetting.
Wrestlers typically don't live very long lives.
Yeah. Owen Hart, Chris Benoit, Ric Flair. I mean, yeah.
Ric Flair's still alive.
Really?
Ric Flair's like in his 80s.
He's ancient then.
Yeah, he's old.
Didn't he come back for like a thing?
A thing?
Yeah.
He comes back all the time.
Word?
Yeah, well, he doesn't wrestle anymore, but he appears. I mean his daughter still wrestles.
He should come back and be like an Egyptian god character and be like, I'm Ric Flair, wrestle me.
Have you ever heard the old, I can't remember.
Gambit's making the stupidest face right now when you're petting him. He's like, oh, thank you, sir.
It was during the, back in, when he was, in his prime WCW, NWA days, but he would always wear a certain color every time he was losing.
Oh.
I think it was red. So his attire he would always come out in, full red or whatever whenever he would lose.
Whenever he knew he was going to lose?
I mean, everyone knows when they're going to lose.
But, the audience doesn't know.
Well, yeah. But yeah, no, that was that's a famous little wrestling thing.
Okay.
So what else did you want to talk about professional wrestling wise? Who are your favorite wrestlers? I know Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
but...
well, I got into wrestling when I was younger. I was one of those kids who had parents that were like, they were loving and stuff, so they bought me toys, you know. And so every time I would go to Walmart, I would ask Mom to get a wrestler, and I would get one almost every time. And it would always be the first one that I saw. I would walk in the toy aisle, grab a wrestler, and pull it off the shelf. I didn't care who it was, because if I had him, then that means I was getting two, and I could give it to one of my friends. If I didn't have him, I got a new wrestler, you know?
There you go.
I must have had probably 6 or 7 Booker T's. For real. I had so many Booker T's. And I also had all of my dad's wrestlers from when he was a kid and had the toys.
Ooh.
You know? Because my parents are still relatively young. Like, my dad just turned 40.
I was about to say, I know both your... My dad's like a good 12 years older than
Yeah,
your dad.
my dad just turned 40. So he had wrestlers when he was a kid. But he had like the immobile ones that didn't have moving arms and stuff. Whereas now, well, when I was a kid, my wrestlers had like bendable elbows and shoulders, and then bendable knees.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then movable heads. Nowadays, kids have like movable ankles and toe pieces. Each finger moves. Like, it's crazy. But I also had like different rings. Like, you know, like you have the wrestlers and you have a wrestling ring. You know, I had like the. What was the one called? Not the cage match, but the big cage.
Hell in a Cell?
No. The big one that had like the individual cells on the inside.
Oh my god.
It was like Temple or something. It was the big, like the big one, and I had that. It was like the set was like the size of this table. It was enormous. And I also had like the railway with like fake audience characters. Ooh. And like the screen, and the screen actually played. Like it was like John Cena's, and then you'd press another button. It was Shawn Michaels. It was press another button, and it would play another one. Oh, Kurt Angle's was one of them.
Kurt Angle, love Kurt Angle.
Yeah, dude. But no, my experience with wrestling was okay. My experience with wrestling is very well. I watched it a lot. I would always watch big events, and I watched Monday Night Raw every single week. Mm-hmm. I did. Every week up until I was like maybe 12 or 13 years old, I watched Raw every week. And what day of the week is that on now?
It's still Monday.
It's still Monday Night Raw? Okay, I haven't watched it in a while. But no, I had a pretty serious, like a pretty intimate relationship with professional wrestling. I met Heidenreich. That was
I wish I could meet the absolute legend that is Heidenreich.
I did. I met Heidenreich. I met Chance the Prophet. I met Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake, another one of my absolute favorites.
Freaking Dusty Rhodes. I met what's his face? Goldberg, I think.
Bill Goldberg?
Bill Goldberg, yeah. And then there was one, it was like what's his name? Good Lord. He's like a really famous wrestler. I'm just blanking on it. He's got like blonde hair. He's like an older...
That narrows it down to about...
he's like an older... He's like an older guy. He goes by like a couple different names.
I can't... I'd have to see him.
Come on. I'm trying to remember. He's got like he's like the one my mom was talking about the other day. He's got like a main name, and then he's got like another name. Jesus. Oh well, I can't remember.
Jesus, you met Jesus?
No. No, but I met a couple wrestlers when I was, and then I went to a actual wrestling event when I was younger. I went to a pay-per-view, and it was the one where Stone Cold came back the first time. Like after he like quit for a while, then he like came back. He had like a big comeback that no one knew about. I was at that pay-per-view. Huh. It was really cool. He came back and he wrestled The Rock, and there was like a big thing. But that was right before The Rock was getting out of wrestling, like almost for good, which he's like back in it now.
He always comes back every once in a while.
Yeah, he does a couple things. But no, that was like the main thing that I was with wrestling. With wrestling, I didn't really like get super into it, but Gambit. Excuse me. Hi, Gammy. Hi, buddy. Oh, what a cute boy.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. No, but let's walk through some of your favorite wrestling moments, like big moments that have happened and stuff. Because I mean, I know one of mine was the first time I ever watched a Buried Alive.
Oh God, a Buried Alive match.
That traumatized me. Traumatized me.
Did you ever see the one where I think it was Paul Bear when he gets he's in the glass case and he just gets absolutely drowned in cement?
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
the one.
Taker wins the match, and then he walks over to him and he's like, "I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do," and he just like keeps and just buries him and drowns him.
Yeah, that's the one that traumatized me because I saw this man's face, and he just actually kind of looked scared. Granted, he was acting, but he kind of looked terrified, you know?
Well, I mean, it's Paul Bear. Paul Bear is one of the scariest expressions in wrestling history.
Yeah, he's a very Charlie Chaplin type of guy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, I don't think nobody could have ever done that role better than William Moody.
You watch me. Nah, that was a crazy moment. Like, straight up, an actual crazy moment. Like, I got literally traumatized by that. Oh, and also, D-Generation X, big part of my childhood. I had, like, the limited edition action figures. My dad got them for me for Christmas. They had, like, actual leather clothes on and stuff. And they came, Shawn Michaels came with a little quotation box, and it said, "See, I just kicked Stan."
The first ever wrestling t-shirt I ever bought was a D-Generation X shirt, but it was from their, I want to say in 2006, 2008 maybe, when they came back and reformed, but and it was the one where, oh my God, you're getting a phone call.
I am. Pause. Anyway, Maddie interrupted us with a very rude phone call.
Unbelievable. I can't believe she called just to tell you how tiny your penis was.
The nerve. I already know how tiny my penis is.
Exactly. Oh, nobody needs to be called just to be reminded.
Have you met my third gerbil yet?
No, I have not.
I got a third one.
You got a third one? How many pets are in this house now, Shawn?
We're about to have a leopard gecko.
Okay, so how many pets will there be after that?
Once Grace moves in and I get my leopard gecko, Gambit, Kitty, Gamora, Nebula, Wanda, and then Grace is bringing 2 cats and a leopard gecko with her, and then I'm going to have a leopard gecko, and also Tonray has Shuri. Enough about the dogs, though. The D-Generation X, that promo.
Which one?
The I kicked Stan promo.
Oh, that was one of the greatest and funniest backstage segments.
Absolutely legendary. Also, did you ever play the wrestling video games?
Of course, I get them every year. I mean, I get all the 2K ones. I got all the SmackDown versus Raw ones. Oh yeah, I get them every year.
Have you ever played SmackDown?
Here Comes the Pain. That's the best one.
Maybe
the one with Lesnar on the cover.
Yes, Here Comes the Pain. Then
yes, that's without a doubt.
Is that the one with like the backstage fights and stuff?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
That one is amazing.
And GM mode.
Yes,
GM mode, one of the greatest wrestling game modes you ever play.
What was that?
It was basically you took control of the show, and you could you were either Raw, SmackDown, or ECW.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
Drafted superstars, and you booked everything. It was a lot of fun.
That was a sick
People have been begging for that to come back, and every year for
GM
2K,
mode?
and it never does. They never bring it back.
Oh well, no, good game. And then they started adding like the stamina bar into the games, and it was just garbage.
I like the way
Did they take that out yet?
Well, no, they still have the stamina bar, but they work it in like really well, so that it actually feels like a struggle and like an actual wrestling match when you're in there. Have you ever played any of the 2K games?
No, not any of the newer ones.
They're all. I mean, the in-ring mechanics and everything are great.
You have to bring one over and we'll play it sometime.
It's just the only thing about the 2K games is the game modes are just very. They haven't had a good My Player mode in a while. One that like can keep you invested and keep you interesting, because eventually it just becomes doing a match every week and you're winning every week because your character's so overpowered and it's not even a challenge anymore.
And do you like pick characters or do you create one?
You create one, which is actually really cool.
Now,
and they run you through and you go through.
Some of the older games was really good.
Oh yeah, no,
Is it
I
still
loved it.
like that?
Oh
It's
yeah,
still
no,
real
the
good?
way I mean the WWE. I've always said that all the WWE games have like. Of all the sports games, they have the best character creators because there's so much you can do.
Gambit, it's in the chair, buddy. Go! Go! Look, there it is! There it is!
He's so confused.
He has no idea. We threw a ball for him and it landed in the recliner and he has literally no clue.
He's just running or he's staring at us. He's completely baffled.
Baffled!
And
lapping to japping. Hey, Gambit, if we just throw your ball, it's in the recliner and you need to go get it.
Oh, well, maybe he's gonna... No.
No. Get up in the chair. Go. Up in the chair. He has no idea what I'm saying.
Absolutely clueless.
Anyway, yeah, that was the older games had some really good game modes, and I haven't played a wrestling game in years.
I would definitely bring one over here.
Straight up, do you have Here Comes the Pain?
No, I don't have it anymore. The only one I had is completely broken.
I'm gonna look up.
I'll have to get it.
What systems that was for? Because I could probably swing getting it.
360. I know it was for the 360. I'm pretty sure.
I know it was for PlayStation 2. Yeah, PlayStation 2. Yeah, just PlayStation 2. It was remastered for the Xbox One, and the PS4.
Ooh.
Okay, someone's looking.
So I'm snagging that.
Yeah, I'm about to do it right now. How much is it? Smacked remake, remaster. Yes, SmackDown versus Raw. Here Comes the Pain remastered. Wait a minute. Oh, it's a rumor. It being remastered for the PS4 is a rumor.
It's a... Oh, fuck! I just got blue balled.
Straight up, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, you can get it for the PS2. I'm going to look up what systems it's available for. Yeah, just PlayStation 2.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Let's see if I can... Okay, for sale. Cool. God. Okay, I gotta go on Amazon. I'm about to buy this game. This is crazy. SmackDown versus Raw. Here Comes the Pain. Not SmackDown versus Raw. Just SmackDown. Okay, SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain. Oh my god. I hate when a game is worth money. Anthony will be home in 30 minutes. No, it's $25 on eBay. Or on Amazon. Jeez. No, but yeah, we got to play a wrestling game soon. I really, really loved that game, and I loved the character customization and stuff. But we're getting to the point of the podcast where it's time to talk about our top 5.
Top 5! You just looked at me. I didn't know what to say.
Okay, our top 5 today is top 5 favorite wrestlers.
Top 5 favorite. Ooh,
yeah,
that's good.
And why?
And why?
And why? So it's just like your top 5 favorite vowels. A-E-I-O-U. And why?
I hate you.
Yeah, man, that was a really good joke.
That was good. I'll give
High five.
Gambit's still looking over here, completely clueless as to
Will you
where
go
the
show
ball
him where his
Yeah,
ball
I'll go
is?
show him where the ball
We're gonna
is.
take a brief intermission. Here's some hotel music. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Are you just doing the... Is that Crazy Frog? Is that what you're doing?
No. It wasn't, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway, okay, let's start out with you, buddy. Let's start out with you. Who's your top 5 favorite wrestlers?
Top 5 favorite.
Actually, let's start out with me, because I feel like you're going to have a little more to say.
Alright.
No, let's start out with you.
Okay, we'll start out with me then.
Okay.
Okay, so my number 5 is The Undertaker.
Ooh.
That was... Let me tell you about how much how when I first started watching wrestling, when I saw The Undertaker, how much he genuinely terrified me.
Word.
So there was an old game, one of the old wrestling games I used to play. I think it was WWE All-Stars. Not a very good game, but a fun one to play when you're little. There was a game mode, like a mode in it, where it was basically a campaign up to beat The Undertaker. And before you beat him, there's this. He cuts a promo about like killing you or like making you rest in peace. And I remember when I actually got to the fight against him and I beat him, I was horrified to go to sleep that night because I genuinely thought he was going to come into my room and kill me.
That is hilarious.
I was and then I mean you talk about the greatest WrestleMania performer of all time. I mean however many matches he won, 25-0 or whatever it was. I mean, you will never ever see a streak.
Is he one of the people who holds the belt for the longest or whatever?
No, he just has the WrestleMania undefeated streak.
Okay.
And then he went up until WrestleMania 30 when Brock Lesnar defeated him, and everyone was pissed. But no, I mean, countless matches. You want to talk a wrestler who's seen so many different generations. I mean, he was defeated Jimmy Snuka and Jake the Snake Roberts.
Jake the Snake!
And then he defeated Shawn Michaels, and then he defeated John Cena and Jericho. I mean, he's seen it all.
Yeah, and he's got a hell of a character. A character, might I add, that they wrote comic books about.
Yeah, when I saw, I'm very upset I didn't buy them.
There
I'm
are
so
Undertaker
what they were.
comics because he created such a good character. Isn't that wild?
And talk about so many different iterations of that character.
Yes.
I mean, the American Badass, the Ministry of Darkness, just plain old moody.
Did he ever wear a mask?
He wore a silver stupid looking mask. I can't remember. Oh God, it would have been. I want to say.
I'm gonna look up
early
pictures
90s.
of his mask.
It was. It wasn't very good, and it didn't stick around very long. Have you ever heard of the Taker versus Taker match?
No.
Faker Taker.
Oh, this one, that mask.
Yeah, that one, that ugly, disgusting one.
It looks like it's so weird. Oh, we have. Hey, B is here.
B.
That's what I was waiting on, but I wasn't sure. We're talking about professional wrestling. Do you have anything to say?
Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
Woohoo! Racist.
Yeah. He's a racist. He's a major
racist.
racist. He also holds a world
also
record that
homophobic.
George doesn't
You're
believe.
calling me a racist. I was like, what?
He holds a world record that George doesn't believe.
What world record was it?
Fingertip to fingertip, longest arm span.
Really?
Yeah.
That can't be true.
I'm looking it up to prove it to you.
Fattest armpit.
I bet.
The vegan chicken is in the freezer, and so are the sweet potatoes.
Fuck yeah. Can I put them both in the air fryer together?
I cook mine, the chicken on the George Foreman and the sweet potatoes in the air fryer. Anyway, you're number 4.
My number 4 is Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
Do you know anything about Daniel Bryan?
I do not.
He's more, he's been, probably, I want to say, one of the greatest, if not the greatest technical wrestlers of all time. An absolutely beautiful technician in the ring, and, you know, he's been, I want to say, around since early 2000s. He had an amazing run in Ring of Honor as the Ring of Honor champion in the mid-2000s. I mean, he's pretty much part of the reason, if not one of the biggest reasons, that Ring of Honor was so big when it was. And then you've got his incredible run in WWE.
From the years 2013 to 2015, Hulk Hogan held the world record for fingertip-to-fingertip arm span, being the longest. It was 6 feet long.
He only held it from 2013 to 2015.
Yeah,
No
isn't that
other
weird?
years.
Isn't that weird?
So strange.
I thought he held it like way before that. Something my dad told me about it or something when I was a kid.
Weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Daniel Bryan.
6 feet though.
That's wild.
That's as tall as
crazy.
me.
And his finisher was the leg drop. Absolute waste.
Wow. He could have literally had like a giraffe chokehold.
Yeah, no, that would have been. I mean, it
Cooler?
wouldn't have been a babyface finisher, but I mean, it would have been something.
Anyway, your number 4, Daniel Bryan.
My number 4, Daniel Bryan. I remember one of the moments that made me genuinely bawl my eyes out in wrestling was when he first announced his retirement, because he had just a little bit after he had won like WrestleMania 30, one of the greatest world championship wins of all time, after genuinely a great storyline from WWE that wasn't really intentional, and the fans kind of pushed him into the main title picture, but we'll just give WWE credit for it just because they claim that it was their idea. But no, and he announced his retirement in his hometown, and I just remember bawling my eyes out, thinking I was never going to get to see him wrestle again. And then he came back, and he's just been on an absolute tear.
Is he still he's wrestling now?
He was the last WWE champion.
Oh, okay.
He lost
Cool.
the last WrestleMania in a fantastic match against Kofi Kingston. Ooh. Yeah, no, great. I'll have to show you that match. It was a very good one.
We'll watch it after this.
And then my number 3. Ooh.
Number 3.
Without a doubt, probably the wrestler.
I'm going to do that now.
The wrestler that I most enjoy watching, going back and watching matches on for the WWE Network's got to be Randy the Macho Man Savage.
Okay.
You want to talk about pure intensity, pure manliness.
Have you seen the epic rap battle of history with Hulk Hogan and Randy the Macho Man Savage?
I don't think I have. Have you ever heard Randy the Macho Man Savage's rap album?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Actually,
isn't
I
it?
have.
It's
Yes.
amazing, isn't it?
Brief.
Give it a shot.
So we just watched it, the epic rap battle.
I don't know if
epic rap
it's
battle
as
of
good
history,
as his
first of
match
all, but-
against Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania, but I mean, it's up there. No, but seriously though, Randy the Macho Man Savage, one of the great. I mean, who doesn't know? Even non-wrestling fans know Hulk Hogan and Randy the Macho Man Savage. I mean, the Mega Powers explode, the match made in heaven. One of the most iconic reunions in wrestling history with him and Miss Elizabeth hugging in the middle of that ring. I mean, you can just see, you pan across and look at the crowd during that, and everyone's just bawling their eyes out. Mm-hmm. A lot of the most iconic moments from the 80s you credit to Randy the Macho Man Savage.
Yeah.
Because he was an absolute
He's the Rob
perfectionist
Van
in the
Dam
ring.
of the 80s.
An interesting take. But yeah, no, an absolute perfectionist.
What's your opinion on Rob Van Dam?
He was a great wrestler. I loved him. But, well, fucking weird dude.
Okay, your number 2.
My number 2 has absolutely got to be Bret Hart.
Word.
I mean, the guy who really, when I went back and watched, I remember the first Bret Hart match I ever watched was, it was a 1993 SummerSlam. It was the Hart Foundation versus Demolition. Him and Jim the Anvil Neidhart in a 2 out of 3 falls match. It was really what not only got me into tag team wrestling, but old wrestling as a whole. And just, you can go back and watch any Bret Hart match from any era against any opponent, and you'll just see an absolute clinic on how to tell a story in the ring and how to be absolutely perfect and flawless in every single move that you do.
Word.
I mean, if you want to watch some amazing matches, both of his matches with his brother Owen, especially the one in the cage, that one's one of my favorite matches of all time. His match against British Bulldog.
Dude, I got some stuff to say about British Bulldog.
British Bulldog, I can't wait to hear it. And then all of his matches with Mr. Perfect, those were some great ones. His match with Ric Flair, I mean, dude's an absolute wrestling genius.
Word.
And genuinely one of my favorites to watch. But not my number 1 favorite.
And your number 1 is? Insert fake drum roll clip here.
Do you actually know who my number 1 is?
I think I do.
I know I've definitely said it's Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
absolutely Chris Jericho. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about someone who's been able to absolutely reinvent their character and keep themselves interesting. I mean, you want to go
a basic character as it is.
A basic character at first, involving it into like the Ayatollah of rock and roll, Lionheart in ECW, and then you've got in 2008 when he completely reinvented himself and just had an absolutely amazing feud with Shawn Michaels. And then you go back to
a amazing feud with Shawn Michaels.
One that, even though he kind of is the reason that Shawn Michaels' eye is all messed up now, but that's okay. Let's see.
Shawn Michaels.
I don't know, you probably haven't seen any of his more recent stuff, but when he did The List, I mean, only Chris Jericho could just get writing people's names on a list. Literally all he would do, when people would make him angry, he would just carry around a clipboard on him that said The List of Jericho on it, and he would just go, "You just made the list!" And it's such a stupid idea on paper, but he made it work, and it became one of the hottest things on WWE. Like, anytime he whips out that
Batista's
list,
on the list. You know?
he would whip out that list, and the crowd would just start to go absolutely crazy, and then he'd say it, and everyone would cheer. Only Chris Jericho could get something as stupid as that over.
Word.
And so yeah, no, that's my top 5. And not only that, but Chris Jericho he's had a couple of my favorite matches of all time, most of which were with Shawn Michaels.
Word.
But yeah, no, Chris Jericho, my favorite wrestler of all time.
Okay. My top 5 are all 5 way all over the place. Like
I can imagine.
Like they're completely different wrestlers, you know. Like whereas you at least had the theme of like there were like a character or two, but then there were good wrestlers, you know.
Love technicians.
Mine are just okay. So my number 5 is British Bulldog because of a story I have about British Bulldog. I was watching a pay-per-view with my. Sorry, I had to throw the tennis ball for Gambit. I was watching a pay-per-view with my friend Tyler and his dad Paul when I was younger. Does it not taste good? Oh, that's because it looks like it's tar. It's a vape. But don't smoke, kids. Definitely do not smoke.
Never.
However, no, we were wrestling after we were watching it. And I did the British Bulldog's move. They're like running up from behind, grabbing from behind the neck, and then like falling. Love that move. And I did it flawlessly. And Paul, Tyler's dad, was like, "Oh my God, that was awesome. You're so good at that." And Tyler was like, "I'm good at it too." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I impressed Paul." And like, it's such a good memory in my head of being like, "Oh yeah, I impressed my friend's dad. My friend's dad likes me. My friend's dad likes me," you know? And I was just a little kid, and I have such a good memory every time I hear the British Bulldog's name, so that's why he's my number 5.
Your goal with every single friend you've ever made is to make it so that their parents like you more than they like their kid.
Gring, gring. That may or may not be accurate. By the way, how's your mom?
Doing well, still recovering, but she told me to tell you hi.
Cool. My number 4 is Dave Bautista. Because of the fact that I just used his full name. Because he was a professional wrestler, a good one.
Do you mind if I just give a quick go at his theme song real quick?
Yeah.
Just real quick. I won't do anything crazy. Yeah!
You just made every person listening to this never want to listen to the podcast again.
Sorry about that. It's just every time I hear Batista's theme song, that's just...
Yeah, I'll sing Triple H's. It's all about the game, and the game is how you do it. And then he spits water. But, no, so can you imagine him doing that in the middle of a Royal Rumble?
I'm pretty sure he does.
He just stops everything and spits water up on the side of a ring.
Spits on everybody.
He's like the 16th person in. Anyway, no. So, my number 4, Dave Bautista, because of how well of a wrestler he was, and then he immediately flipped it around and became one of the Guardians of the Galaxy and made a amazing Drax. I can't imagine anyone else playing the character, you know? He's so good, and he's such a funny guy.
He's so good at being an idiot.
See, I've met him in real life.
I know, and I was very fucking jealous.
He is a very, very flirty man. He
flirted with you?
He was hitting on everyone in the line.
Well, have you ever heard of the rumor that he's got, like, a huge dick?
Well, he hits on, like, man and woman alike. Everyone. Anyway, so then my number 3, probably... one of the more predictable ones on my list is Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
Because I had the masks when I was younger.
Oh, yeah. I knew that one.
I really dug me some Rey.
Surprised it wasn't number... Well, no, I know who your number 1 is.
You know who my number 1 is. My number 1 is one of the most unexpected ever. But anyway, my number 3. I love Rey Mysterio because I love his different style of wrestling. I love how flexible he is. I love how... Like, he's 5'9", you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, without a doubt, one of the greatest, if not the greatest luchadors of all time.
Yes, he's an amazing luchador, never took off his mask, you know?
Yeah, he did in WCW.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him without his mask on?
I have not.
It's weird. He has a very small head.
Okay. Is he at least Hispanic?
Oh, well, yeah, he's Hispanic.
Okay. No, so he, his 619, that move... legendary.
One of the most iconic finishes of all time.
Yes, and it's okay. It's iconic because it has its name. You know, it's like it's like the figure 4. It's like Ric Flair's figure 4. You know, it's one of those things. My number 2 though. For those of you who actually know me well, my middle name is Michaels. It's because I was named after a professional wrestler, as white trash as that sounds.
Michael McGillicuddy from NXT.
So, as you can imagine, my number 2 is Triple H. No, it's Shawn Michaels. Because I love the sweet chin music. I love his finisher. I love his super kick. Like, super kicks are like a thing.
They're a common thing nowadays. I mean, everybody's got a super kick.
I like his super kicks.
His is the best.
They're very particular. I like his.
You know, it's so special to him because when anybody else does a super kick, nobody expects it to be like the finish of the match. But when you see a sweet chin music, I mean, that's like, it's over.
My favorite ones are when you watch the compilations and he dances a little bit before he does it.
Oh, yeah, no. The best taunt of tuning up the band in the corner and getting the crowd just slowly
stomping his foot on the ring.
Him.
Yeah. That's a moment that I love watching over and over again, But my number 1 is Umaga.
Yep, there it is.
I love Umaga because of how absurd Umaga is. The guy originally created Umaga to be a parody of Rikishi. Failed miserably at it and created a completely separate character, which I ended up loving because of how wild he was.
He was great. I mean, he played the character fantastically.
Yes, he did. And have you ever sat down and watched him in interviews?
There's nothing scarier than a wild and savage Samoan, let me tell you.
Have you ever seen interviews of the guy who plays Umaga?
No, I haven't.
He's like one of the most sinfully intelligent human beings I've ever seen in my entire life. They're like, so what's your opinion on stuff? And he's like, oh, stuff. It's actually
stuff.
It's actually
the word is very interesting.
It's something that's been particularly bothered me these past few days. And they're like, are you related to The Rock? He's like, yes. But no, I like me some Umaga because I like how I love absurdism. So if I were to ever be a wrestler, I would be a vampire. My whole gimmick would be being a vampire or a Viking or both.
You would be a big fan of Vampiro.
Vampiro?
Yes, from WCW and ECW.
I know who Vampiro is.
Oh, but have you ever watched Vampiro?
I don't think I've
watched Vampiro.
Isn't that one guy that only has a couple matches and then he got kicked out?
No, that was the Kiss Demon.
Oh, okay, that was the Kiss Demon. Okay.
Oh my god, the Kiss Demon. We need to do another episode of this anytime, and we can just talk about the worst wrestling gimmicks of all time because I could go on forever. Mantar, the Monk, the Kiss Demon.
Oh,
John Cena.
Oh my god. Anyway, we're running right about out of time. If you enjoy pro wrestling, let us know in the comments or email us, and we'll try to keep some more of that stuff on the show. Anyway, wish George good luck, or break a leg, or try not to break a couple. And we will see you guys next week on Super Stuff. We don't do that anymore.
Oh, we don't?
No.
Oh, shit.
We haven't done it in 6 episodes.
Where have I been?
On the last 6 episodes.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, we realized how funny the episodes have been, so we don't need a gimmick at the end.
Yeah, okay, so you realize... Is that why you have me on here, so I can just scream at the end as loud as you can?
I mean, that's what I've been waiting on. That's why we're still talking.
Oh, okay, well then let me just give it my best. Yeah!